It's going.
I'm recording.
Let's see. Can I get a volunteer to critique John? Sure. Okay, thanks, John. I have to say that she's getting on last Now, when we do the evaluation, you can fill these out if you want, but this is not what I want from you. This is just be nice to give to the person. But these are just so that you have ideas on what to write about. You're going to write 250 words, 3 things they did well, 2 things that you did wrong. And you just sort of what's that? You just sort of you're going to do one first. You're going to critique one and these are in the packet, so this is just extra. And bring this back with you in case I run out one day. I might say, all right.
I'm really interested in the topic, John.
A penny saved is a penny earned. That's a phrase that I've always been told growing up. But what if I told you that I have some better advice for you, better information? Because you see, a penny's face value is 1 cent. But what if I told you that might not necessarily be true? What if I told you that a penny could be worth more than 1 cent? You see, this is important to know because coins are part of our daily lives. Whether we're going to the grocery store to buy milk and cereal, we get change back when we pay with cash. And maybe you don't pay with cash, but just walking down the parking lot of Walmart, we see coins lying on the ground. Only 1 in 2 Americans will pick up that coin. 56% of them will pick up pennies. This is from Myung Hong. He's a data journalist. Only 7% of them keep their change. To me, that's just absolutely insane. Because coins are fun to collect, they're rich in history, and are valuable. I myself am a numismatist, which is a fancy way of saying that I collect coins and paper currency. I've been collecting them for about 4 years now and still going strong. Today, I'm going to show you 3 different values of the coins, some terms, history, and the values of certain coins. The first coin I want to start with is the humble wheat cent. The face value of the wheat cent is just 1 cent. However, 1909 to 1958, on the obverse we have Abraham Lincoln, which is the front, and the reverse, which is the back, featuring 1 cent and wheat. The face value of this is 1 cent. However, the collector's value to someone like me is 3 to 4 cents. That's a 300% increase in value. But the story of the wheat cent does not stop there. Because you see, in World War II, the US military needed copper for the war effort. And where did they get that copper from? None other than our humble wheat cent. So in 1943, the US Mint decided to stop minting pennies with copper and instead started minting them with steel with a zinc coating. These are known as steel cents, and these are worth 13 to 14 cents. Now these are a little bit more rare than your average wheat cent. However, the normal wheat cent is very common. I still find them in circulation all the time, on the ground. When I'm working at my workplace, I look through my cash register to see it because that's just free money, just exchange it with a penny. But now, so far we've covered 2 different values. We have the face value and the collector's value. But what if I told you there was a third value? That third value being the silver value. Because you see, back then, the American standard was silver. So 1964 prior, quarters and dimes were literally a quarter's worth of silver. But what ended up happening was, the silver's value kept rising, however, the face value of the quarter stayed the same. So in 1965, they stopped minting coins with silver. What that means for us now is, in 2019, since the silver value has gone up much, much more, a quarter from 1964 in 2019 is about $3. You could be missing out on $3 if you didn't know this information. 1964 and prior, a quarter, $3. Silver value. Dime is $1. 1964 and before. They stopped minting them because it was just more than the face value, so now they don't mint it with silver anymore. But the story of silver does not stop there. Because you see, in 1943, we have the steel cent. And that was because of the war. But what if I told you the steel cent wasn't the only coin to come out of the war? Because in World War II, the US military also needed nickel for the war effort. And where did they get the nickel from? The nickel. These war nickels, as they're called, from 1942 to 1945, are minted with 40% silver. They're worth about $1. They are made to be very easily identifiable because the idea was the US government was going to pull them out of circulation because they contain silver. So, on the top of there you can see the letter. Usually, that's the mint mark. Usually, it's on the front, right next to the date. However, to make them very easily identifiable, they put it on the back. The S stands for San Francisco. They are also minted in Philadelphia and Denver. So if it's Philadelphia, it'd be a P. If it was Denver, it'd be a D. And now you know. You know wheat pennies, you know silver, you know war nickels, and now you know steel cents. So now what can you do? You can go home and look through your change, through your piggy banks, and through your pockets. And you can find these coins still. They're still around. But maybe you're not into collecting coins like me. Maybe you're not so big about it. So in that case, you can just give them to me.